Hello, everyone. I'm Geneva with the Levy Senior Center Foundation, and welcome to today's lecture, Avoiding Spam and Scams with Candace Browdy. Candace is the former Executive Director of ConnectLakeCounty, a nonprofit dedicated to closing the digital divide in northeastern Illinois. Her digital inclusion leadership includes launching the Collar County Plus Workgroup to foster regional collaboration, designing a learn-to-earn digital skills program model, and creating a digital navigator program serving the third largest county in Illinois. Candace has also served as an advisor to the White House, contributing to efforts to streamline the Affordable Connectivity Program application process. This program is made possible by the Levy Senior Center Foundation and the City of Evanston. As a reminder, please silence your cell phones and reserve your questions until the end of the presentation. And at that time, if you have a question, we ask that you raise your hand and wait to be called on. If you don't mind, Candace, could you repeat questions for folks on Zoom? Thank you. And with that, please welcome Candace. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the great introduction. Thank you all for joining us either in person or online. For those of you online, we were having some technical difficulties. Can someone just put in the chat online to let us know that you're able to hear this presentation? You can hear us talking. Can someone just send a quick chat saying yes or a thumbs up? Or if you're having difficulty, we just want to make sure everyone can hear. I'm going to assume that everyone that's on Zoom can hear us because we haven't gotten any messages. Okay, great. It is a pleasure for me to be here. My favorite population to work with are seniors because I recognize that so often our seniors are left behind in the digital equity space. And oftentimes I work with seniors who feel like people look at them and say, well, you didn't grow up using technology. You don't really need it. And I think that is abysmal. And we at Right to Learn feel very strongly that our senior population, our seniors need the support so that you can live your best life, or we can, I'm close to being a senior, can live our best lives and take advantage of all that technology has to offer. So I'm really happy to be here. So let's dive right in. I have a lot to share with you. If I'm going too fast or there's something that doesn't make sense, put a chat in the question, or if it really doesn't make sense in the moment, flag me down for those of you who are in person. So I'm going to start, excuse me, with what are some of your biggest, why are we here? What are some of your biggest concerns when you think about spam and scams online? Anything. There's no wrong answer. Yes.
Losing your life savings.
Oh, that is great. Whoops. I'm just gonna repeat what's being said. Losing your life savings. We've all heard about situations where someone's lost their life savings. What else? What are you afraid about? Yes.
Somebody breaking into your phone. I got a message that my phone had been broken into.
Somebody breaking into your phone. A lady in the audience said that she got a message that someone got into her phone. So we're afraid of scammers getting into our personal devices. What else?
I've been warned not to, since I don't speak the language, if I hit on something, some things are, oh boy, that sounds, that I'm hitting on it.
Yep. So another concern is that you get links, you get messages, you don't know what it's about. You press on it because you think it's legitimate, and pretty soon, your computer is full of who knows what, and malware and nefarious people who want to do bad, get into your data, and then who knows what happens from there, right? We have a question online.
Someone online is adding by saying cryptocurrency scams.
Oh, cryptocurrency scams. Another big scam that people have been taken advantage that has been a way for people to be taken advantage of. What about dating? Senior date, it doesn't matter your age, but dating. Have you ever seen those romance scams or someone is corresponding with another person and it could go on for years and then they find out there's no such person. So all of these spam and scams affect us no matter what our age, no matter what our language, no matter where we live. It's all can be very scary. So today I'm going to help you be able to identify some of the things that are spam or scams and how you can protect yourselves. So first of all, what's the difference between spam and scam? So when you have unwanted messages or things that are irrelevant to you. So you get a message that says, join a singles club or go on a cruise or sign up to get XYZ services. It's just an email advertising something. It's not necessarily asking you to do something, but it's advertising a product or service to you. That is typically spam. That's messages or email that's being sent to you because your personal email address has been shared through a variety of ways. And we'll get to how that happens in a minute. It could be because you recently purchased something and you gave your email address to the store or the online resource. And so what happens is they sell your email address. So if I go and I buy a pair of Nike shoes online and I enter my email address, wherever I bought the shoes from may be selling my email. So it's not nefarious, it's not dangerous, but what it does is it opens up the floodgate. So now I get all kinds of email about sneakers and Nike and things like that. Okay, that's spam. It's just stuff that I don't want. And on your email, you can set up what is called a spam mailbox, a spam detector, and a lot of emails are really good about detecting what is spam and doesn't even send it to your inbox. And every now and then you can go into what's called your spam folder and you just see all these like advertisements. So I get tons of spam. I just delete it all. But then what's different is when you're getting information that is deceptive, it's malicious, it's trying to trick you, it's trying to get you to take an action. That is what we call a scam. Does that make sense? The difference between the two? Someone is purposely, or a group of people are purposely trying to do something to get your money, to get you to sign up for something that is a fraud. So one is fraud and one is just advertising. So here's an example. This is an email, and I'm going to ask you all to read it and tell me if you think that this is spam or is this scam. So it's an email to confirm that your payment was submitted and to a bank account, and you need to take all of these actions and click on this. We need you to do this now in 2 to 3 days. You don't really know who it's from. Is this spam or is it scam?
Yeah.
Scam, right? Great. That is scam. Okay, next one. An email message comes to me, dear AAA customer, we want to offer you this opportunity. You've got attention. It expires today. You need to click on this today to click to start the survey. It's really important you do this. Is that spam or is that scam? It's scam. Now you might have thought it was spam because they're trying to sell you something, but it's telling you got to do it right now. I'm not even a member of AAA. So that is scam. It'd be one thing if I was a member of AAA and they were sending me something that says, if you'd like to get a coupon code for 30% off your tires, here's what you can do. Or, it's not telling me I have to do it today. It's just saying that you can go to our website and find a list of discount codes. That's different. That's just spam. This is a scam. So good call. Okay, here's another one. Sheraton Hotels sent me this information. If I'm interested in going to Hawaii, I can call them. I can find out more about this package deal. It's coming from Sheraton and Marriott have merged. It's giving me information if I'm interested. Is this spam or is this scam?
Either. Spare.
It's spam. Yeah, it's spam. It's legitimate. It's not telling me I have to do something right away. If you look at the fine line, the fine print, it says reserve now, but you can call us. We're open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to midnight and Eastern time. There's not this like urgent, like you need to click on something right now. This is just email that I don't want. I'd like to go to Hawaii, but now is not the time. Okay, so spam versus scam. So then the question is, and I don't know how many of you have ever asked yourself, but why am I getting all these messages? And I touched on this before. It's not just the random universe sending you messages. Like I mentioned before, your email gets sold. That's just the way that things work. Every time you give your email to someone or a company, a business, you don't necessarily know what they're doing with your email, and they then sell those emails for marketing purposes. It's just another way of marketing businesses. Now that we're in the digital age, it's one way to get information out there about products and services. And this happens a lot on apps and websites. So I'll give you an example. My mom, who's 77, goes on a website and she's shopping for stuff. And then suddenly she's getting emails about, oh, would you like to buy a koala this? Or would you like to buy a dog that? Why? Because yesterday she was on her computer searching for koala pillows and dog stuff for my dogs. So it's not a scam. But your computers, the apps that you're on, track the things that you're looking at, and then you're suddenly going to get emails because it's tracking your algorithm. It's tracking what you're interested in. So when you make online purchases, there's nothing wrong with that, but just understand that could create more spam email for you. And it's trying to entice you. It's the best kind of marketing. It's trying to entice you to be more of what the system already knows you're interested in, which is different than the way scammers get your information. Scammers get your information because they go into social media, they go into Facebook, they go into public databases, they find all kinds of backdoor ways to get your personal private information so they can rip you off. They don't want to sell you something, they want to rip you off. Have you ever gotten a notice in the mail saying, let's say Target, this has happened many times, where you get a message saying there's been a data breach, and so they're going to offer you 2 years. You're going to get 2 years of credit protection. That's legitimate. So companies get hacked. And when they get hacked, even the federal government has gotten hacked. Your personal information has been taken by bad people, and now they're going to try and use your personal information for bad reasons. And so when this happens with reputable companies, they work with services to then offer you free protection so that you can protect your credit. You can go in and you can protect your credit cards. You can be notified if your information is being used for fraudulent reasons. There's also these folks, they try to impersonate your friends. They try and they get your phone number, and suddenly you're getting texts from someone who's claiming to be your friend, your relative. They want something from you. That's the way that scammers try to get your information. So you look at this picture and you think, wow, there's so much that we can do in this digital age, and there's so much at our fingertips. But you have to remember, and I'm not saying this to scare anyone, but you have to remember that you have to be safe when you're online. And you have a digital footprint. A digital footprint is a way that technology, platforms, applications, sites that you visit, websites that you visit, it's really tracking your online movement. And so all of that, you have to assume that anything that you put online or search that you do online or you share information online can be spread, either for good reasons or for bad reasons. And so you always want to think about your personal private information. I talk about this when we do artificial intelligence classes. There's some data that's okay for you to share, and there's some information that you should never share unless you are in an absolute verified website. So if I bank at Chase and I'm logged on to the Chase website, that's my bank. I logged on, I've entered my password, I've entered my email address. Is it okay for me to look up banking information? Yes, it's okay. I'm on a secure site with Chase. But if I get a link and the link tells me to enter my bank information, my bank account number, should I just assume like, okay, I'm going to enter my bank account number? No. You should not be giving out your bank account number unless you are in a secure site and you are initiating a bank transfer, some kind of ACH, an automatic transfer. There's no reason anybody needs your bank information unless you're working with a reputable source and you are on a secure network. Your bank, your financial advisor. What if you're buying something and you need to enter your credit card information? Is that okay to do online? Yes, it's okay to enter your credit card information if you're what? If you're on a reputable site. If you get an email that says, go to the Candace Browdy website and enter your credit card information and she's going to send you all this wonderful stuff, you don't know me, right? But let's say you're ordering food to be delivered from Jewel and you're on their website and you have to enter your credit card information. That's okay. You're on Jewel's website, you're shopping online. The other thing is when you're entering credit card information, you are most of the time protected by your credit card company from fraud. For those of you in the room or online, you could do it also. Anyone ever had to call your bank and say, I gave my credit card information, or I don't know how my credit card was accessed, but there's purchases that weren't mine? That's happened to me, right? You call your bank, they stop the payment, they investigate, they take care of it. So you're less at risk when you're using your credit card or even a debit card because you're protected by whomever is issuing that credit or debit card, as opposed to just entering your bank information, your bank account, or if you have a retirement account, an investment account, you should never be asked to enter that information. So you always have to be thinking the trade-offs between doing something online and being safe. And if something in your gut is telling you, I'm not sure, listen to your gut. So how do you spot these scams? And we call this phishing. So first of all, there are emails or texts. They appear to come from a legitimate source. Like you might get a message that says, let's stick with the Chase example. This is a message from Chase. We have a problem with your account, blah, 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 blah. It's an email. You need to call us immediately. My dad once got one of those messages, and his banks, he got a message like that. I said, Dad, do you really think that Wells Fargo is going to send you an email if they think that it's fraud? And he was like, oh. I said, they're going to call you. They're going to ask you to verify that it's you. They're going to put you in touch with their fraud alert team. They're not just going to send you an email and ask you to enter stuff online. So that's where you have to stop and think, why is someone sending me this important information via an email? And they have a call to action. You've got to do something. You have to take action. You have to click on something. You have to call something. You have to submit something. That when there's something urgent like that, that's usually a sign of phishing. The other thing is this false sense of urgency. You have to do it today. You have to do it now. You have to do it within 24 hours. most legitimate business does not have to be conducted right in the moment. I can't think of anything that has to be conducted immediately right now. There are very few things that have to be done right now in the moment. So that's another way to spot these kind of fraudulent phishing schemes. Also, you want to check for discrepancies. Look very closely at the emails that you're getting. So you get an email from Chase, but then you look and see what was the sender's email. So you open up the email and you see that the sender's email is Joe Blow at ABC123. Is someone from Chase going to send you an email that's not from a Chase email account? No. You can look at emails and you can see, boy, I've gotten emails before from, let's say it's, I'll use another site. Let's say it's Hulu. I've gotten emails before from Hulu and boy, they don't look like this. Why? Because it's not really from Hulu. So you want to question what the email or the information, what it looks like, what the grammar is. Oftentimes there's bad grammar. If you look at it really carefully, take your time, read things carefully. And then there are these links and you don't know where the link goes. If you don't know where a link, it's telling you to press on something, don't press on it. If you're not sure, so let's stick with Hulu, right? Hulu is a streaming service. Let's say I get an email from Hulu and it says, there's a problem with your account. Click on this link. I'm not going to click on the link. I'm going to call Hulu. Nothing has to be done right in the moment, and don't click links if you don't know where that link is taking you. I'm going to give you, here's an example. Okay, this email comes in and it says, we detected something unusual about a recent sign-in to your whatever account. Your account has been suspended. Anyone ever get an email like this? So you get an email like that, you think, oh, shoot, right? Now I'm not going to be able to get in my account. If you look at the bottom, it says, if you don't take action within 24 hours, this account will stop receiving email messages. First of all, what did we talk about? Sense of urgency has to be done right now. I don't know what, I've never seen this background, like this looks funky. I've never seen this before. And it's this idea that I have to take some kind of action or I won't be getting my email. There's no such thing as you're not going to get emails if you don't take action right now. So it seems fishy to me. So what am I going to do? Am I going to click on the link? No, I'm going to either delete it altogether or I'm going to call I don't even know what company this is, but if it's a company or a business that I'm familiar with, I'm going to call them. Otherwise, I look at this, I know right away. I mean, look at it, it says country, region, Iran. I'm not getting anything. Who's contacting you from Iran? Right? So delete it. You don't have to do anything. Just delete it. They want to scare you. Don't be scared. Delete. If something's really important, someone's going to call you. You're not going to get an important message. You're going to get via email or text. You're going to get it via phone call. So that is scam. How many of you have gotten a text or a message from iPass from Illinois Toll saying that you've got unpaid tolls? I get them like every day. Yeah, right. Lady in the back said she hasn't even been on the tollway. This is scam. Just delete it. Here's what I was talking about before. Netflix. You get a message from Netflix. Your account has been suspended. You've got to click on this to restart your membership. And it has, if we don't have a response from you within 48 hours, first of all, Netflix is, and even if they do disconnect your Netflix in 48 hours, so what? You'll call Netflix, you'll get your account restated, right? Take your time and think, is there this sense of urgency? Is it asking me to click on something immediately? Does it look funny? Like I've got an email from Netflix and it doesn't look like this. And when I go to the well, you can't see it on here, but when you click on the sender information, it's not from someone at Netflix. It's from someone at some made up email address. Scam. Here's another one, PayPal. PayPal sends an email saying, thank you for your recent order of a semi-automatic pistol. We got your payment of $1,199.99. I look at that and I think, I did not order a pistol. Oh my gosh, they must have taken almost $1,200 out of my account. And let's say there's a button, it probably got cut off, but there's a button and it says to click on this button. I panic, right? My first inclination is to click on the button. That's what they want you to do. They want you to click on the button. So what do you do instead of clicking on the button?
Delete it.
You delete it. And if you're not sure, you call PayPal. And PayPal is going to tell you it's a scam. 90% of the time, 99% of the time when you see this kind of stuff, just delete it. It's scam. If PayPal really needed you, I remember the first time years ago when I got something like this and I panicked. So I went to my bank account online and I looked through my bank account. I said to myself, nope, there was not $1,200 taken out of my account. Someone has a question. Yes.
I got that. And I'm not sure. Very often those same type of scam emails will say, call our number, and there's a number at the bottom. What I will generally do is go to Google, look up their real number and call that independently. I never call the number on the scam email.
That is a great point. So a gentleman in the back said, if he gets an email like this and it lists a phone number and it says, if you have any questions, call us at this number. He doesn't call the number on the email. They're not going to give you the legitimate number to PayPal. You go to the website for PayPal, you look at customer service for PayPal, and that's how you call PayPal. You do not take any information from something that looks like it's scammy. Don't take any information to be true until you go to a legitimate website for the business. Great point. Okay. Romance scams. So I'm not going to ask anyone if they've been part of a romance scam, but I will tell you that years ago, I've been divorced for many, many, many years, and I was doing online dating. And there was someone online that I was talking to, and a friend of mine happened to be over, and we were talking, and my friend was also divorced, and we were talking about people online, and I said, oh, and there's this really nice looking man, and we've been talking, and she said, what's his username online? And I told her, and she said, that's the same one that's talking to me, but he gave her totally different information. To me, he said he lives in this suburb and he has this number of kids. To her, he said he's single, never married, never had any kids. Okay. So what you can, and so it can happen no matter what age you are. So romance scams, they try to get close to you right away. Oh, and they tell you that they live far away or they're really busy at work, so they can't get together with you. I'm in Alaska working on the pipelines, but I've just fallen in love with your picture, and you're chatting back and forth and you make plans for them to come. And then what happens? There's some kind of an emergency and suddenly they can't come to visit. And then you make plans again and they can't visit. And then the next thing you know, they are asking you for money, right? You've seen this before. It really happens in real life. So when you're talking with people, whether it be for romance reasons or even when you're online on Facebook or other interpersonal social media accounts, one of the things, and this is if any of you use Facebook and you're in different Facebook groups, a lot of times people are posting things, and when you go and you look at their profile was just made 24 hours ago, and their profile doesn't have any information about them. And oftentimes you can look at the picture and there's ways that you can take that picture and you can run it through another website that will tell you if that's even a real picture, but you don't need to do that. If you're corresponding with someone and their profile was just made very recently, there's no other information about them, is that someone that you want to be corresponding with? No. People, I see it all the time online. People are communicating. They're having online political arguments with someone who's a bot, about someone who made up in some other country, and they're just trying to stir up trouble. So always check profiles when you're communicating with people to see how recently that profile's been created. If you really want to communicate with someone, so my daughter, when she moved into the city, we were going to buy a couch, and she was online talking to someone, but she was doing it all online on one of those like neighborhood, like through Facebook Marketplace. And I was starting to just feel like, this isn't right. And so I said to the quote unquote seller, oh, give me your text information, and I'm going to text the information to you instead of doing it on this platform. And he disappeared. Because he was setting up a scam, but the scam was through the website. And the minute I asked for real phone information, he disappeared. Now, he could have said, okay, I'll give you the phone information. And I could have been texting with him on a throwaway phone. It's more likely that you can get caught doing that. But if that were the case and I was still suspicious, so let's say I went offline and we were just texting and he told me how much money he wanted for the couch. He said, okay, I want it all paid up front. Yeah, I'm not paying you up front. And I said, if I'm going to pay you anything, I'm going to use PayPal, or I'm going to use a payment service that protects me as the buyer when I buy something. And when I suggested that, this has happened before, they disappear because they don't want to be protected. So just because someone seems like they're legitimate and they've got pictures, the furniture that the guy was trying to sell to my daughter, the next day that post disappeared. But guess what? It appeared a couple days later, same picture, different information, different guy, but same stuff. It was a scam. So you really want to be careful, especially when in the dating romance situation where people ask for money. Bye-bye. Never send money to anyone that you have not met in person. Here's an example. They're chatting away. Tom looks great. Well, I'd love to go out with him. And then pretty soon, like, he's giving me all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, can I send him $1,200 he's got to fix his car? I'm like, we'll take Uber. Uber's not working in my area. And I see he only lives on this example, he only lives 83 miles away from me. Uber exists it's not like he's living in the middle of, I live in the Chicago suburbs. Someone who's 83 miles away from me can access Uber, right? So unless you're living in the middle of the desert where there really is no Uber, that's a lot of phooey. Another example, I mentioned this before, you get these emails, hi, I'm working on the pipeline, or I'm doing some like secret work in the middle of the Middle East, and I can't get back to the States, but I'd love to chat with you. And then you start reading and you see like there's spelling mistakes, and right away they want to, oh, you're so beautiful, and oh, you're so this, and oh, you're so that. If only it was that easy to find someone to date. Bye-bye. And then some of you have probably seen these where they're asking for money because they're tugging at your heartstrings. I need an operation. My daughter needs an operation. My dog needs an operation. I need to get my child out of jail. I need to fill in the blanks. There's this sense of urgency. They need money. They're pulling at your heartstrings because something's bad going to happen to them. What are you going to do? You going to send the money? No, it's a scam. Okay? Yes, question.
similar to that. 5 years ago, I was on another I was doing something else on the computer, but I was logged into Facebook, and a friend said, "Hi, John." I said, "Hi, how you doing?" "Well, not so well. I'm in England right now and somebody stole my cell phone and my wallet. Could you lend me $1,000 and I'll pay you when I get back?" So for me, what I did was I sort of let it string along because it didn't sound right. First thing I did was I called my friend at 7 a.m. His wife answers. I said, "Is Bill there?" He says, "Well, he's asleep in the other room." I said, "That's all I
Right.
needed to know. Let him know somebody hacked his Facebook."
Right, right.
Second thing is, as I played along, they asked me to make a deposit of $1,000 in a Western Union account with a password.
Right.
So they do that because they don't need to show an ID if I have a password. And if I do this and it's a scam, you can never get money back from Western
Right.
Union. It's
So
lost.
that's right. The gentleman in the back was just giving an example about how you can get scammed on Facebook or other platforms with people telling you it looks like them. It's their image, and they're telling you that there's an emergency and they need money. And we're going to get to that. So you got a little bit ahead. No, that's okay. But we're going to get to what happens when you think that it's your grandchild or it's your brother's child or it's your brother needing help. We're going to get to that. What do you do? How do you tell if it's a scam or if it's real? Another very popular way that scammers get you is through phony tech support. So you suddenly get like a pop-up, or you get this strange email. Your device is infected, right? You get this like flashing thing telling you like your computer. You think, "Oh my gosh, my mom used to call me all the time. I think I broke my computer. Dad's gonna kill me." Mom, you didn't break your computer. It's not real. But it scares you, right? The message somehow gets you that you need a fix. In order for it to be fixed, you have to click on this link so it will go through your computer and try and fix it. You know what's actually going to happen? You're going to get a bug. You're going to get a technology bug. It's going to create a worm, an electronic worm that's going to go through and take all of your data and then steal your money, steal your ID, get any of your personal information that it possibly can. So what do? You don't engage. If there was really a problem with your technology, somebody legitimately would be calling you. You would not be getting some strange email saying there's a problem and you have to click on a link. No legitimate organization is going to do that. And you immediately close, so what happens when I say pop-up, if you don't know what a pop-up is, you're looking at your email, let's say, or you're on a website, and then another screen opens up and it's flashing at you. That's a pop-up. You close it and you shut down your computer and you restart your computer. Don't click on it. Don't do anything with it other than to close the box and restart your computer.
And sometimes they say, "Don't restart your computer."
That's a great point, right? One of the things they say is, if you restart your computer, you're gonna XYZ. No, they don't want you. That's a great point. They don't want you to restart your computer. The best thing you can do is restart your computer. So here's an example. I don't know if any of you have ever seen anything like that, but you think it's legitimate because it's the blue color of Windows. It's got the Windows logo. You will not be contacted by Microsoft or anyone telling you that you've got a virus in this way. You will not get an email. You will not get a pop-up that says you need to call any kind of number if there's some kind of bug. That's just not going to happen. If there was a bug, you would find out because you would be hearing about it on the news. You would be getting phone calls. You would be getting legitimate messages and email or some kind of notification from Microsoft. Or you would, and if that were the case, if you got an email and you weren't sure, you would not take the information off of this message. You would go to the website for Microsoft. You would find their number and you would call customer support and say, "I just got a message saying that I have a virus. They'll walk you through it and they'll tell you whether or not it's fraud. And most likely it's going to be fraud. This is one of those things that pops up, right? Suspicious activity found. This was my mom's thing. I'm going to break your dad's going to kill me. It's fraud. Okay, what about employment scams?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got someone in the audience who says yes to that. They all of a sudden, right off the bat, they're like, we're going to pay you $3,000 a month and you're going to get this and you're going to get that. You're like, I never sent you my resume. I don't know who you are. We've never had an interview. So you're offered a job without an interview. Yes. Sometimes, this happened to my daughter. She's 25. This happened to her a couple of years ago. She got hooked into this whole thing where some company supposedly was making her an offer to do some work. And then the next thing you know, they're like, okay, well, you have to pay fees to get the training. And she's like, she called me. She's like, Mom, they want me to pay fees. I said, stop communicating. It's not legitimate. No reputable. I mean, I am confident that many of you in this audience and many of you online have worked in the past, and you never had an employer tell you that you needed to pay upfront for fees, unless you're in the trades. If you're a tradesperson and you need to take a class and perhaps you need to pay for the class, that could be legitimate. But no company is going to tell. They told my daughter, well, you're going to pay for this, but we're not giving you a computer. We're not giving you a phone. You have to use all your own equipment and you'll be paying us this amount of money. Fraud. And when the pay sounds too good to be true, right? If it's too good, if it sounds too good to be true, what is it? It's too good to be true. And then this was the case with that situation with my daughter. They're like, we need an answer right away because spots are filling up and you're our top candidate. And they're like, we're going to have you talk to the regional director. And then she talked to some guy. I said, Claire, for all you know, it's a guy sitting in his bedroom making up who knows what. Claire is my daughter. I said, the real world of work does not work that way. There are other things for employment scams when the person you're talking to says they're from a certain company, but then you look on their LinkedIn profile and you looked on their any kind of profile that they had, and they're claiming that they work for, let's say they're claiming they work for Apt. Right, Apt is where a lot of people go to buy home equipment and computers and appliances, right? And someone's saying, "Oh, I work for Apt and blah blah blah." But then you go on their LinkedIn profile and you don't see anything about Apt, and you don't see anything in their email about Apt. So oftentimes these scams are going to happen when people say that they're going to offer you a job, but they're not. There's nothing that you can find that shows that they work for Apt or whatever the company is. I will often go online and check if someone says that they want to talk to me about a job. I go on that company's website and I see if they're listed anywhere on the website. How about when you're told you're a perfect fit, you're perfect for this, but they've never talked to any of your references. You haven't even sent your resume, right? Scam. So here's an example. You get a text message from Robert Half is a company that does recruiting. It's a recruiter. And it says pay range from $200 to $1,000 per day. All you need is a smartphone or a computer. You're going to get paid immediately. But if you're interested, contact me on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is another communication platform. Any legitimate recruiter is not going to be talking to you on WhatsApp. They are going to be talking to you via email from their recruiter's firm's email address. They're going to be talking to you via Zoom. You're going to see credentials, not, oh, we'll talk offline on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is not traceable. You have no idea where this person could be sitting in the middle of Australia and you would have no idea. Legitimate employers are not going to hire you this way. Here's another, you get an email that says we're hiring, and it looks great. They tell you all this stuff, and then you see you're going to fill out this form. You're going to go online, you're going to fill out this form, and make sure you send us a picture of your driver's license front and back. Now, I have been asked, and I have asked people for copies of their driver's license information, but that is after someone has been hired and it is legitimate through our company because they're going to be driving for us. If I'm being hired to be a driver for a company, they need to see my driver's license front and back, but not just I'm not going and entering my picture of my driver's license on some website. That is after I have been vetted and I've talked with the folks and I am on a legitimate, secure site that I know is safe for me to enter this information. You do not email your social security information. You don't text that. You don't text or email credit card information. Certainly not your pictures of your driver's license. If someone asks you, it has to be through a vault, you get a link. So like if you've ever done some banking or when I have refinanced a mortgage, oftentimes the mortgage broker, the bank sends me a link and it's to what's like a vault and it's password protected. And I go in there and that's where I can enter my private information because it is a legitimate, safe site for it. I am not just sending someone, oh, okay, I'm going to apply for the job and I'm sending you a picture of my driver's license. You always want to think in your gut, does this make sense? So this is another scam. Other scams in person. Okay, so this is what the gentleman in the back was talking about. Someone reaches out to you. In the case of the gentleman in the back, he got a message on Facebook from his buddy who said, hey, I'm stuck in wherever he was and I need $1,000. I have to get my car fixed. Can you send it to me and can you send me the money via Western Union? Or now there's other ways to ask for money. Okay, so or there's another scam that used to happen a lot. I don't know how much it happens now, but you get, well, I guess it does happen now. You get a phone call and it's someone who you know. Grandma, grandpa, it's Joey and I got picked up. I'm in jail. I need money for bail. Can you send the money to this address? Can you Venmo it? Can you Zelle it? Okay. So something like that happens and you're panicked. What do you do? Someone not the gentleman in the back. What do you do? Do you send the money? No. Well, the first line of defense is say to the person, so let's say I've got my grandson Joey on the phone claiming that he's in jail. I'm going to say, okay, Joey, what number are you calling me from? Oh, I lost my phone. I borrowed this phone from someone. Okay, Joey, give me the number that you're calling from. I'm going to call you back. No, you can't call me back. Or you try calling them back at that number and guess what? Joey doesn't answer the phone. Or better yet, you call Joey's mother. You call Joey's sister. You call someone who knows Joey and says, hey, Joey's sister, I just got a crazy call from Joey. Where is Joey? Did Joey go on a trip? And well, in the case of the gentleman in the back, he called his friend's wife and the wife said, no, he's sleeping next to me. Right? Call someone to try and verify whether or not the person who's claiming that they need help is truly the person that they say they are and that they legitimately need help. Do not do anything before you confirm that it's actually them. Don't click on any links. Don't give them any information. You call back on your terms. My friend's son, actually, this happened a month ago, got picked up in Wisconsin for a variety of reasons, and he was taken to the police station in Wisconsin, and she got a call from the police station in Wisconsin. She got the name of the officer that was calling her, the name of the police station, the phone number. She verified all of that before she started talking, and it was legitimate. And this was like at 1 o'clock in the morning. So you can go on websites, you can go, so someone's saying they're calling. So Joey calls and says he's in the jail, he's in the Deerfield jail. You hang up and you call non-emergency number for Deerfield. Someone's going to answer and you're going to say, my grandson Joey said he's being detained there. Can you give me any information? They're going to say, no, we have no record of Joey being here. We act when we're scared. We act immediately, right? And so that the scammers are banking on you acting immediately. This has been happening to me. So this is a transcript from a phone number that, this is a transcript from a voicemail message. So you get these phone calls and they're telling me they're from the funding review team, that my request for a loan has been processed. Please call us immediately. And I was getting like four messages like this a day. Yeah. So someone a lady in the audience just mentioned this has been happening to her. She couldn't get it to stop. This has been ongoing for me. So after I got it, like the third or fourth time, I was getting text messages and voicemail messages. What did I do? Like a dummy, I called the number and I said, I want to speak to a supervisor. I didn't even say I want to speak to a supervisor. I said, I want to put me on your do not call list. Right? Because that's what we're told to do when we don't want to be called for like marketing information, for legitimate things. You can say, take me off your marketing, put me on your do not call list. This is a scam. And so by me calling, it signified to them that I was a legitimate live person, and that maybe because I called, I wasn't so on top of things. So if they kept on doing it, maybe they could get something from me. I cannot get these calls to stop. I must get 2 or 3 a day. So what I had to do on my phone is that I have an iPhone, and I have AT&T as my service. I went in, AT&T has, there's a free and a paid version. I went into the free version and I now set up, like a scam detection, so that if AT&T can detect that they think it's from a scam number, that it will automatically block it, so it won't even come through as a call for me. And then I can go into my AT&T app and I can see all the calls that have come in, just in case I recognize a call. I looked the other day, there must have been 12 calls that it tracked. So if this is happening to you, do not answer, do not communicate. And the problem is, so I started blocking the numbers. They use a system, I won't go into details, but they use a system that can generate fake numbers. So it doesn't matter. I'm getting numbers from every country across the United States. They're just fake numbers. So blocking them doesn't do anything. The most important thing, other than not answering and not calling them back, is to call your phone service provider and ask them if they have any service that can help identify any of these calls that are likely spam or a scam. So the big providers will typically have a service like that, and I for sure know AT&T does. Yes, sir.
About spoofing. So you get something that looks like a legitimate email address or a legitimate phone number, and it's not, but that makes you think it's legitimate.
Right. So what the gentleman just brought up was spoofing. So you get something and it looks like it's coming from, it looks just like with the emails, it looks like it's legitimately coming from my brother saying, this is a legitimate phone call. Again, if you need something immediately, if there's a call to action, you have to do something. If you're not sure, you call, so they can clone phone numbers. So it looks like a call is coming from my brother and it's not really. So what do? I go and I call my brother. He's like, what are you talking about? So again, go back to is this an immediate kind of thing? Are you feeling scared? There's language that's being used to try and get you to do something. Take a deep breath and take actions to try and validate whether this is legitimate or not. Questions? Yeah.
So when you said you get those texts that are for, oh, I got money for you. And so sometimes I haven't really looked carefully. I just delete it. But it says something, report as scam. And now you're saying sometimes there's a fee for this service, sometimes not. So it's not a good way to do it, but to call rather than just hit what's there at the time.
Okay. So the question was that I had mentioned, if you're getting these kinds of calls and there or text messages, that there's a fee to get them blocked. What I meant, and thank you for the question, is first of all, don't ever call any number that's listed in the message that you've gotten. If you get a voicemail that says call this number if you have questions, if you think it's a scam or there's a tiny little pink flag in your mind, don't call that number. You can report these numbers. You can report things that you think are scam to your local police department. You can report them to the FCC. What I meant by paying for services, for example, AT&T has a service for free because I'm an AT&T customer that will be able to identify that these are fake numbers and will just stop it for me. It doesn't even ring on my phone. It'll block it so that it just goes into a separate it goes to a separate platform, so it's not bothering me. I don't have to pay for that. That's free. There's AT&T has an upgraded service where it offers some other protections that you don't need. You just don't want to be bothered. I was getting these calls like all day long. So you don't have to pay for it. You call your telephone provider and just find out if they have something that can automatically just takes the call for you on the AT&T platform, and then it doesn't ring on your phone. So that's what I meant by that. Do not call, and you shouldn't have to pay for a service like that. And if your provider tells you that the only way to do it is to pay for it, then it's not worth paying for it. Just don't answer these calls. And it's annoying, and just keep deleting them and don't answer. Eventually they're going to stop because they're not getting any. My biggest mistake, and I cannot believe that I fell for it. This is what I do for a living. Right? So and I talk to people, especially seniors, who are like, oh, I'm so stupid, I fell for it. I do this for a living and I fell for it. Wait, let me go to this lady. Yes.
In this case, it's not a question, it's just an bad experience that we had. It was my husband, but was in WhatsApp. So what happened to him, actually to us, is a very close nephew was a friend, a co-worker, very close. Said, please, contact to me because I need right away your help. I need $400, something like that. So it looks very familiar. So my husband right away didn't double check whatever he sent to him the money. So that was the worst thing, because despite we were in Canada at that time, so we were charged in Americans. But on top of that, all the list of contacts were replicated. So
right.
All the people receiving message, in that message, my husband was asking for money today.
Right.
But because they know us, I mean, eventually we can contact family or something in an emergency, let's say, but he's not going to request money to all our contact list. So it was super bad. We lose the 400 American, and he didn't know, but he canceled the phone, I mean. So that was a number that he had for a lot of years. So that was very annoying, and then you have to contact everyone to change the phone. I mean, it was super bad.
Yeah, for those of you who are on Zoom, the example that the lady in the audience just gave was how they got scammed, and what happened was on WhatsApp, they were contacted saying that there was money needed, and eventually what can happen is, when you're on some of these platforms, the scammers can get all of your contact information. So pretty soon, everybody that you know is getting a message or a call or a notification that your husband or your brother or whatever is in trouble. And pretty soon, like, everybody's thinking that there's a problem and that everybody needs to send money. And then what happens is you end up you have to close down your account. You have to get a new phone number. You have to start all over. And boy, oh boy, that is a pain in the neck. And that is why you always want to stop, and before you do anything, verify that something's legitimate. And in this case, sometimes they get into your information before you even have a chance to do anything about it. You often see on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, people will put up a post that says, if you get an email from me, disregard it. I was hacked. So if you think you've been hacked, or you think that someone is using your information in a bad way, let your family and friends know. We talked about this. You get a call and it sounds like it's your grandson or someone that you know, they're asking for money. They tell you that they were in jail. They lost their phone. We already talked about this. Call that person's real number. Another thing a lot of families will do is they set up a secret family word. So in my family, we have a word so that if or a phrase, if something is legitimate, you will use this particular phrase. So let's say our family password is giraffe, because that's not a word that you use very frequently. So everyone in my family knows that if there's an emergency, you work the word giraffe into the conversation so that you know that it's legitimate. So that if one of my kids was calling with an emergency, they would say, and Mom, remember we were looking at those giraffe pictures. Or if it was my parents, I would say, Dad, tell Mom to take a look at that giraffe picture. Somehow, or even you could flat out say, what's before? So let's say Joey calls and says, I'm in jail. And I would say, Joey, what's our word? It happened to my friends in New York. They got a call saying it was their son and that he had been arrested. And I said, okay, Logan, what's the word? And the person hung up. So it's a really good way to ensure that the people close to you can confirm that it's a legitimate request or a legitimate call. Okay, what else can you do? I know this is a hard one, using separate email addresses. And I so wish that I had done a better job at doing this, because I have a personal email, not a work email. And when I go on Wayfair, let's say, or I go to Amazon, or I go on Target and I'm buying something, I use my one Candace Browdy email, right? And I just went through like my emails. I mean, I'm getting not scams, but I'm getting spam. Now I have 500 literally emails from places that they want me to buy this and they want me to get that, and what I should have done was created a separate email that was my shopping email, so that anytime that I wanted to order something online, it was all done through that email. And so that anything having to do with purchases or services went there. So it didn't clog up my regular personal email address that I use for communicating with the veterinarian or the doctor or my kids or my pet, whatever it is. So ideally you would do that. Like my mother in the ideal world would have 2 different emails, because Lord knows she's getting advertisements and spam all the time.
A lot of spams or legitimate whatever, and they have unsubscribed. And a friend told me, don't bother, because they sell it to other things. You'll still get other things.
So
So
the-
is it worth
so-
checking it unsubscribe, the effort?
So the question was, oftentimes when you get emails like solicitations, there's an unsubscribe button. Now, anytime you're being solicited for business, or products or services, they have to include an unsubscribe because you've been opted in. Somehow you've been opted in to get this information, and they have to include an unsubscribe button. It is legitimate to click on unsubscribe. So I will tell you, so when I was saying I had like 500 messages and it was all spam, not scam, spam. I went into every vendor, and I unsubscribed, and I just checked this morning, and I have not, from almost all of them, I have not received any more messages.
They give it. and they
So,
tell you
so
get it from-
when you hit unsubscribe, that is typically, they're not going to sell. That's not how they're going to sell your information. They're not selling your information because you unsubscribed. They sell your information because they saw that you were online at Amazon shopping for chopsticks, and now you're getting emails from Oriental Trading Company. They want to sell you all kinds of things. So the unsubscribe button is not typically,
Okay to just-
it is okay to, I unsubscribed it took me an hour to unsubscribe, but
That was something I wrote down, because I would be worried about how you can mask certain buttons. If I really don't know who that vendor is, it's not Wayfair or a big name that I've done business with before. Could their unsubscribe button be a link that they're masking and just saying?
so great question. And it shows that you've really been paying attention. The question was, what if you get an email and there's an unsubscribe button, but it's not from a vendor or a company or a place that you're familiar with? So I was unsubscribing to things like Domino's and Wayfair and T-Mobile and Macy's, right? All legitimate. They were all legitimate. It was spam, not scam. None of this was, it was all legitimate emails I was unsubscribing to. Spam, right? If I got an email and it was from ABC, blah, 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 and I don't know what it is, and I've never heard of them, and they're not just sending me an ad for like, oh, we're selling widgets and you might be interested in a widget, but I would not hit any link if it's from a sender that I am not familiar with, and always go up to who the sender is. So for example, when it's Macy's or it's Domino's, you can tell that it's automated, because in the email address, it says something about Macy's or Domino's, as opposed to you click on it and the email address is from xyz@abc.com. So if you're really not familiar with it, then don't hit any link, don't unsubscribe.
Yeah, but spam can be so, they're so good, it could really look, I feel, like it is from legitimate.
Listen, the question is with scammers, they can do so much to try and scam you. Are you taking a chance? Yes, you're always taking a chance. I could just tell you from my experience, I'm not telling you what to do. From my experience, I wanted to and some people, it doesn't matter. They're like, I'll just delete it. And if you're okay, just delete, then do that. It was driving me crazy with all of this stuff that I was getting. So I just went and I unsubscribed, and I did this last week, and so far, so good. If you are at all in doubt, just delete. I'll tell you another thing that's happening. And this is a little bit into AI, but I'm going to cross over here because there's so many people either in person or on the call today. I just want to make you all aware of. We offer another set of classes on AI, artificial intelligence. And the thing that is I cannot stress it enough, is that you cannot believe everything that you see. So I was scrolling last night. I follow on Facebook, I follow a couple of animal rescues. So I just go on because I like to watch their videos and I like to see updates. And I see this ad anyone familiar with the movie Forrest Gump? So it was for the sequel to Forrest Gump. And I see a whole like, what's it called? A trailer for Forrest Gump 2. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. And then I Googled it. It was all AI generated, all fake. So, so when you're seeing videos, when you're getting messages, another scam that goes around a lot is if you're on Facebook and you're in like neighborhood groups and you're seeing pictures, oh, there's a lost dog, all these messages about lost dogs. Unfortunately, 90% of the time, they are fraud. Because people are then sharing and sharing and sharing that there's a lost dog and I live in Deerfield, there's a lost dog in Deerfield. And it's another way for scammers to hack into your accounts. So the other thing that just came out yesterday is when it was an article yesterday, and I don't want to overcomplicate things, but maybe someday we'll have an AI we're having an AI session. Okay. I encourage you to come to the AI class. But just be careful that when you look something up, right? We're all accustomed to Googling it, or we look something up online that if you're looking for information, you always want to double check that the source of your information is legitimate. So if I Google something and it's medical advice and I got it on a website that says whatever it says, guess what? I'm going to go to Advocate, or I'm going to go to the website for what's in Minnesota? Mayo, right? Mayo has tons of information, and I'm going to ask my question there. So just there's more. We're finding out on a daily basis how AI can be manipulated. Even the great AI platforms are being manipulated in crazy ways. So please, I cannot encourage you enough to double check. Look for a verified resource before you take the information and just think that it's accurate, whether it's in writing or whether it's visually. You see something, my mom will send me videos and she's like, isn't this cute? I'm like, Mom, it's not real. Come on. And she's like, how do you know? And there are ways that you can spot it. And sometimes it's just because it's legitimate. Like I like to watch animal rescues. Yesterday I was watching a video and it was with the feeders at a sanctuary for apes, and they were feeding the baby apes, and I'm watching, I'm like, I don't know if this is legitimate or not. And so it was, but just constantly question. Don't be afraid to live your life, but constantly question. If you're another way to reduce your spam or scams, use your email provider to the best abilities that you can. So Gmail has great ways to detect spam and scams. Hotmail, AOL, if anyone still using an AOL account, I would highly recommend getting off of AOL and creating a free Gmail account. But your email mail service, most of them are really good at picking up on scams. We talked about this, resist the urgency to like, oh my God, there's something wrong. I have to click on it right now. We've got a question online.
It's what do you do if you want information about a product/service, but they ask for personal information before they will give it?
Great question. So for anyone who didn't hear, what do you do if you want a product or service and they're asking for personal information before they give you the answer?
Ignore right away.
One person says ignore it right away. Telephone and call the provider or the company. Do not give your personal private information to anyone unless it is someone you know. It is a vendor that you have verified you are on a safe site. Like I can't think of a vendor that would need my personal information unless okay, here would be an example. Let's say I'm on a website, I like to wear certain running shoes. So let's say I'm gonna make it up. Let's say I'm on a Reebok website and they need to know my shoe size in order to tell me if there are any XYZ style in a size 7. Yeah, then I can put in that I wear a size 7. I don't care that I'm putting in, but if they want to know my medical history or they want to know where I live before I find out if you have any shoes, you don't need to know where I live to tell me that you have shoes in stock, right? I don't care if you know my shoe size, I'm buying shoes on this site.
Do you mean don't give your address?
Don't, so the question was like, what information? Don't give, right, there's no reason, I don't need to give someone my address unless they're shipping something to me. Or or a case where I would want to put in my address and not necessarily my address, but well, depends. If I'm using Uber or Lyft, a service that has to come and pick me up at my address, then I need to put in, I'm on their app and I need to put in my address. But if I'm on a site, if I'm on, my mother loves to shop at Shein, SEIN, that it's a bunch of stuff that's made cheaply, and if I'm on that site, they don't need my address until it's ready to be shipped. There's no reason if I'm shopping why anyone needs my address until it's ready to be shipped. So if I'm on a site and I want to buy here's an example. Car dealers, you can go on a website. When I was looking for a new car, you can go on a website called Edmunds, and I wanted to find out what should be the amount that I should pay for the car. I know what the list price is, but what should I be able to negotiate? It depends on the region where you're living. So the Edmunds website, before they can give you the information, will ask you what region, what city, or what state. That's okay. I'm on their platform, and because I don't want to know what people are paying in California for a car. I don't want to know what people are paying in New York. I want to know generally in this area what people are paying for the car. Then it would be okay. I'm not putting in my address, but I'm saying that I live in Evanston, Illinois, because then it's the website is going to tell me comps for that area. So in cases like that, it would be okay to give that kind of personal information, but nobody needs your personal information. Nobody needs your social security number online, and nobody needs other personal information about you until you're ready to make the purchase and have something sent to you. Proceed on your terms. If you're not sure about something, just like the lady in the back said, call them back. Say, let me think about it. Can I have a number? I'll call you back. There's very few things that have to be taken care of in this moment or within 24 hours. Yes, question.
Call is tricky also sometimes, because nowadays when we call back, it's a recorder. Click 1, click 2, whatever. So it's very difficult to get human voice.
Yes.
And sometimes also it's not 100%. So we really need to know that it's the right number that we are calling.
Right. So the lady in the audience said, sometimes even calling back, you end up, how many of you have made a phone call and you're pressing dial 1 if you want this, and then you have to dial 5 and then dial 7, and 20 minutes later, you're like, I just want to talk to a human being. And sometimes you don't even know that the number is legitimate. So let's say I get an offer. If we go back to that early offer about the trip to Hawaii, and it was Marriott, I think it's Marriott, Westin, and one of the other hotels. So I think about it. I'm like, okay, I think I would really like to book a trip to Hawaii. It was a special on a 7-day trip. There was a number that you could call. It was on that. Now, it was on that ad, on that email I got. Now, we knew that was legitimate. But if I'm wondering, is it legitimate to call that number? I will go to the Marriott website, or I will go to the Westin website, and I will look for their number for customer service. I won't use, even though I know it was legitimate, I go to the real verified source, which is their public website and get the number there. So if at all you have any inkling that something might be a scam, find the legitimate website for the business and use that number. Another thing in it, and this is very important but hard to do, don't reuse passwords. I am guilty of it for the longest time. Everything I had a password, they were all the same. So if someone hacked me, they would have gotten into everything. So now I'm switching it up and I can never remember my passwords. So everyone in the audience is shaking their heads. There are apps that you can use, that you can download, and you can store your passwords in this app, and it will keep them there for you so that you don't always have to remember. Because I can barely remember one password, let alone all my passwords. But really, it's best that you use passwords that are complex and they're different, so that if somebody does, your information gets breached, your device gets breached, they can't get into all of your accounts. I'll tell you another thing. It's really nice that we use, you can use Face ID. Many people, just to even open up their phones, you can use Face ID so that you don't have to type in passwords. Not a proud parenting moment, but my daughter a few years ago was out in Chicago and she was out at the bars. It was late at night. She was waiting for her friends. She was sitting on a bench in the city in Chicago, and she fell asleep holding her phone. Someone came by, held her phone up to her face. It unlocked her phone, and she did not have her Venmo password protected. They stole her phone. They wiped out her Venmo. She had money sitting in her Venmo account. And so that was a nightmare. Now, yeah, shame on her for a variety of reasons. One being that she fell asleep sitting on a bench outside. But it goes to show you why you want to have multiple protections on your phone. So anything that has banking, financial, personal information should be locked with a password, and even multiple it's called two-factor identification. So not only do you have to put in your password, but then it will trigger to send you a text or an email to verify that it's you. Pain in the neck, right? But that's how you can stay safe. Another question.
What I do is I don't remember the password, so that's fine. Just make up a new one.
Yeah, you can make up new ones. Yeah, listen, so a lady in the audience said she just makes up new passwords because she's forgetting hers all the time. So that has happened to me where I cannot remember the password to something and I didn't save it, and so I just create a new account. But there are times when you're not able to create a new account because you already have an account and you need your email address to create the new account, but then it says your email address is already associated with an account, and then you're in this loop of not being able to get in, you're not able to get the information that you need. So try to find somewhere safe to keep your passwords. But if you forget, then yes, you can try and create a new account. Gentleman in the back.
You get onto a website for the first time, and one of the questions it will ask is whether or not you're accepting cookies. What is your position on that, and how often do you clean out your cookies?
So question, let me just make sure that quick, good, we're on Q&A. Okay, phew, this is perfect. The question the gentleman asked was about cookies. Oftentimes you log on to a site and it asks permission because they're using cookies, and it won't let you proceed any further until you click yes or no. I always will click yes. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining what cookies are, other than to say that if you're being asked to allow the cookies or click yes, and it is a website that you know is a verified website. I went to Indiana University undergrad, so if I log on to the Indiana University website for something and it asks me, is it okay? Do we have your permission? I say yes. I know it's a legitimate website. If I just got a random email from Boston University and then it wanted to, I'd be like, I'm not clicking on anything yes. So it's okay to click yes, because otherwise you're not going to be able to progress. And there's a way to clean out your cookies. I clean mine every couple weeks. Don't panic if you don't do it on a regular basis.
I do mine multiple times a day.
Okay, there you go. So you're doing it multiple people, some people are doing it every day, some people, it's a personal preference.
How do you do it? It's just tracking, right? How
That
do you clean out your cookies?
Actually, you could Google it, but I'm happy to show you on a computer how to do that rather than keeping everyone here. But if you don't know what cookies are, they're not like what Cookie Monster eats cookies, but if you don't know what cookies are and you don't know how to clean your cookies, you can go to Google or you can go online, whatever browser you use, and Google what are cookies on a computer and how do I clean out my cookies, and you will get step-by-step instructions. But I'm happy to talk about it after.
And you can also set your basics things to manage your cookies, like if there's one you want to leave in there because it's got information that'll help you do something better.
That's right.
You can put that in the special ones.
That's right.
But you can set things up eventually so it works for you better.
Right. So the comment in the audience was that you can also set how your cookies operate and how they're what is allowed, what is kept on a regular basis. You have those settings, and so I would definitely encourage you to do a little bit of homework and learn about cookies. I really encourage you when the AI class comes up to take part in the AI class, because those have been really helpful. What else can I answer for anyone?
Your cookies is just tracking where you went for the day you went out.
Yes, cookies is tracking where you've been, and cookies is what is allowing the website to give you access. And sometimes, have you ever been on a website and you can't get, my son went to Northwestern, and I was trying to get onto his when he was still in school, I was trying to get on to pay his tuition, and I couldn't get any further. It was getting blocked. It was because of my cookie settings. It wasn't, my settings were set in a way that it wouldn't allow me to progress any further. And I don't want to spend any time confusing anyone, but it's a setting that kind of regulates where you can go, or tracking what you're doing on your computer on the internet. Question, yes.
What do you think about these services that help you to protect your computer, like Norton or other things like that?
So the question was about the antivirus services. So Norton, I personally, I don't have antivirus protection anymore on my computer because so many, and I'm not giving advice. I'm just telling my personal experience. Norton got manipulated. Like, there's actually I think it's a Netflix documentary about Norton antivirus that you should watch it. It's very interesting. But there's Defender, there's Norton antivirus. A lot of businesses or companies will have antivirus systems that you must use while you're working for the company already in your system. Me personally, I don't use it. I have found that the cost doesn't justify what it's done for me. I'm smart about what I'm doing. You can be smart and still get hacked, but I typically don't find them to be worthwhile.
I use it for, I guess, peace of mind.
Yeah, and listen, so the point that the gentleman made was that he uses it for peace of mind. I will never tell you not to do something for peace of mind. I would be bad at my job if I told you not to do something if it gives you any peace of mind. If you are in doubt and you are going to pay for a service that's going to give you some peace of mind, that service is worth, you can't put a dollar amount on what it's worth, because it makes you feel safer as long as you know it's legitimate. If you're going to buy antivirus protection, you make sure you go to the website, you make sure that you verify that it's legitimate before you pay for it.
It's another problem. They create a system.
Right.
They want to
right.
buy more and more programs.
That's right. There's fraud. We're out of time. But what I am going to share with everyone is, and if anyone who's here in person and wants help with QR codes, I can help you. But a couple of things. One, if you want to learn more about our classes on our website, you can use this QR code. We also have a QR code if you want to sign up to get a copy of this deck. We'll email it to you. So anyone that's here in person and you want to use your phone and take a picture of this, this will let you sign up for it. Otherwise, there's little slips of paper that I think are going around where you can give me or any piece of paper, just write down your name and your email address and just say that it was for this class, and we'll send you a copy of this deck. And if you don't know how to use a QR code, you just take your phone and your camera and you point it at this, and it looks like you're taking a picture. Stay after and I'll show you how to use a QR code. There's also your feedback. Your feedback is so important. We make changes at Right to Learn based on the feedback that we get. So if you're in person and you would like to fill out, you don't have to put your name on it. If you're in person and you want to fill out a feedback form, it's really helpful to us. And if you're online, you can do it by using the QR code, or anyone in person can do it using this QR code. But your feedback is greatly, greatly appreciated. So we're over time. Yep.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thanks again for joining us today. A recording of this lecture will also be made available to watch on our YouTube channel sometime this month. So keep an eye out for that. If you enjoyed today's lecture, please also consider supporting the Levy Senior Center Foundation with a donation today. We have a donation box at the table in the back, as well as an option to donate online at lscfevanston.org. Thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful day.